friends. I hope you're all well. Shalom, shalom. Welcome to our second episode. We want to discuss a topic, or let me say, a fundamental belief: the state of the dead. All right, and we have called this a precarious doctrine. So this is a revisit, a visit to a precarious doctrine. Okay, we have heard the mainstream, what we have been taught. Okay, the nature of man, fundamental belief that man is immortal. There is nothing on man that is mortal. Genesis 2 verse 17, Genesis 3 verse 4. That's all we find of man. All right, when he was created, it was the dust of earth that was crafted, okay, or that was woven to come up with this body, which to which God breathed the breath of life. All right. So to the breath of life, once the breath of life was received, then we had a living soul. All right. So this is uncontested. Everybody understands. Everybody agrees. All right. Then we find that the next thing, we also find that when man dies, the Spirit of God, or the Ruah of Elohim, the Ruah as in the Spirit, the Ruah of Elohim goes back to him. And the body that was made of the dust of earth returns to the earth where it came from. All right, interesting. This we find in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. We also understand that man is unaware, unconscious of his existence. Neither can he do anything for those who are still alive. All right. So to this we can reference Psalms 146, verse 4. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 5. Psalms 115, verse 17. Psalm 6 verse 5 and Psalms 8 verse 10 to 12. So this is the nominal teaching. This we have no problem with it. All right. So there are other questions that are asked to be answered within or around this fundamental belief. All right. So, like, can they speak? Who speaks then when our loved ones speak? Can they look after us? Can we talk to them? No, we cannot talk to them. They cannot reach to us. We are in an agreement. And also that, so another topic that I wanted to touch is that who then would be talking in that sense? Who then, if the dead do not talk to us, if they do not respond, who is talking to us? So there are things that we didn't understand. We didn't grasp the concept. Okay. So this is what we have learned of the nature of man. We now have what I call, or what I've chosen to call, disturbing verses, okay, or discussions, especially by Yeshua. All right. So you remember the story where Jesus, or Yeshua, was teaching, and then he said there was a rich man and a poor man called Lazarus. Okay, so he was giving an illustration, but the makeup of the illustration is what brings the question, or brings the problem we want to address. Okay, so Yeshua goes on to say the rich man died, and when he died, he went to hell. So now in hell, his soul. So it begins to contemplate what happens with the soul. So the soul of the rich man is being tormented in hell. All right. And Lazarus, when he had died, the poor man who ate from the table of the rich man, he went to paradise, or to say he was in the bosom of Abraham. All right. So in the narrative, as Yeshua gave his illustration, he says that the rich man called out to paradise and says, Father Abraham, please may you send us a drop of water. Send it through Lazarus. Send Lazarus that he might come and atone or put some drops on my lips, or on whichever context it was. But then we have a phenomenal subject. So some, they deny this and say it was a story that used to go by during the time where these people were writing the Bible. So some, they say that Jesus came up with a clever argument to actually disprove that there is something that happens after death. All right. So this is what people do when they want to shed off this. They want to shut off this verse or this encounter. We also have other verses like Revelation, Revelation chapter 6, from chapter 6, I think verse 11 or verse 9, where it says that when they opened the sixth seal, the souls that were under, so there were souls which were under the altar of incense, which were crying to God, and they said, how long shall you avenge our souls? How long shall you avenge our souls? So here we have the existence, or a narrative also, that seem to talk about souls after death which have died and yet have not reached heaven, but are somewhere where they plead with God and say, how long? How long? How long? So there is an argument there that besides, besides the living, besides those who are in heaven with the angels and the Father and the Son duo, there is another place where we have souls which seem to cry before God the Father. I know we want to close this chapter and say, man, this is not it. We don't have such a thing. But listen, there are some verses that I have found very interesting. We never read these verses. No one has ever read these verses to you. All right. For example, Numbers chapter 16, verse 22. Listen to Numbers 16, verse 22. It says, and they fell upon their faces. And they fell upon their faces. So just a brief background. Something has happened in the camp of Israel. Okay? Something has happened in the camp of Israel. All right? And now a plague has been cast upon all the children of Israel, upon the camp of Israel. Now, the plague is ravaging. All right. The plague is what? Is ravaging. So we have now this contemplation. Let's read. And they fell upon their faces and said, O God, O Elohim, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? The part that I want to say is that when they fell on their faces, so they are praying, supplicating, pleading with God. They said, oh God, the God of the spirits of all flesh. There. This phrase, we have not seen it, and it only appears in 3 places in the whole Bible. The God of the spirits. What is that? The God of the spirits, as in the God of angels? Or the God of what? Because this cannot be the God of angels, because they say the God of the spirits of all flesh. Okay, so we are not discussing angels in this context because then angels will not expect them to have flesh in this context. All right, so this context specifically refers to living men, but to living men, they are saying God of the spirits. What is that phrase contending? Numbers 27 verse 16. We also have 27 verse 16. What does Numbers says? And then it says, let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation. All right. So there's a dispute then again about leadership. Okay. So the sons of Korah. So the sons of Korah were cousins, They were Levites, but not direct from the house of Aaron. Okay, they were Levites, but not direct from the house of Aaron. Okay, so what we are having now is, forgive I'm experiencing. Give me for that. I've been experiencing a nasty feedback, so I just had to take it out, okay, so that we stop that. All right. So Korah was contending with Moses and Aaron and said, "We are all Levites. We are all the descendants of Levi from Jacob. All right. So we are all Levites, and we also want to hold the Kesar." Okay. So there was an issue where people were saying, we also want to be in office. We also want to serve in office. Okay. So because they also wanted to be in office, now we come to Numbers 27:16, where it says, let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregations. The God of the spirits is the phrase that we are looking for. The God of the spirits of all flesh. So to all flesh, they are spirits. Come with me. Yeah. So because what we have been taught ends with, when a man is living, he is a living soul. Okay, so we have nothing separate from the living soul. If a man dies, the breath of life goes back to the one who gave it, and the body goes to the grave. But the phrase God of the spirits of all flesh seem to contend that, seem to be contrary to that. Okay, seem to be coming to a point that, see, God of all flesh has spirits of all flesh. So you say it's Old Testament. Let's go to the book of Hebrews. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 12, verse 9. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 9. Listen to what Paul is saying. Furthermore, we have heard fathers of our flesh. Listen, we have heard fathers of our flesh. So I have a father. All right, this is what he's saying. Everyone has a father. For you to be born, you have a father. So he said, furthermore, we have heard fathers of our flesh, which corrected us. True. And we gave them reverence. True. Shall we not much rather be in subject unto the Father of spirits and live? Paul has a point here. He's saying, shall we not subject ourselves unto the Father of spirits? What is the Father of spirits? Who is the Father of spirits? What does it mean that he is Father of spirits? See, now we have a different picture, because if he is not the God of flesh of man, and he is referred as God of spirits, this now becomes interesting. What are we talking about? What are we even discussing? The Father of spirits. He is God of spirits, the spirits of all flesh. Which spirits are we referring to? we were on the point that we were questioning, or we were trying to broaden the concept of God of the spirits of all flesh. Okay, God of the spirits of all flesh. So it means the all flesh has spirits. Okay, that's what it means. All flesh has spirit. It is not referring to the spirits of angels. No, because it is in direct, it has a qualitative description where it says that uh, shall you destroy all men because of the sin of one man? All right. No, God will not do that. All right. He won't. But as we are deliberating, we want the argument that says man, or all man, has a spirit in them. And we saw the verses in Revelation that there are souls under the altar of incense in heaven who were crying and saying, how long shall it be before you avenge our souls? So we stand at a place where we need to acknowledge something. Oh, should I introduce to you the book of Enoch? All right. So the book of Enoch is very clear that when men die, so let's go back. Let's go to the book of Enoch, so that we might have a better picture. The souls, so that you might know. So the thing that we need to know is that the book of the patriarch Enoch is very valid, very important piece that once it is brought back among the other books, you find that the whole books hold in together. Okay, they become self-explanatory. We can see when Numbers was getting this argument, all right, or where people were getting this argument. Okay, so we want the souls that yearn or that cry. We need the book of Enoch. From the book of Enoch, Jubilees from the book of Enoch. Yes. So it is in chapter 9. Yes, it is in chapter 9. So we have this. Enoch chapter 9 verse 3, it says, and now to you, O you Holy One of heaven, the souls of men complain, saying, bring judgment to us from El Elyon. Then they said unto their Adonai the king, Adonai ha Adonayim, Elohim ha Elohim, Melech ha Melechim. The throne of your glory is forever and ever. And forever and ever is your name sanctified and glorified. You are blessed and glorified. Verse 9, chapter 9 of Enoch, verse 9. And now behold, the souls of those who are dead cry out. Okay, so see the comparison. In the book of Revelation, we have the souls that cry are the righteous ones who cry before the altar of heaven. Now, in the book of Enoch, we also have the souls of those who were dead crying out. Okay, 10 verse 11, destroy all the souls dedicated to lust. Destroy all the souls dedicated to lust and the offspring of the watchers, for they have tyrannized all mankind. So now Enoch has a lot of perspectives that come along, okay, which I'm going to explain as we go. Okay, he's going to open up the issue of souls after man has died. After man has died, there is something that transcends. There is something that transcends to the next point. For example, listen to what Jesus says in one argument. He says, you fear men who can destroy the body that you see, but fear the one who can destroy the soul. It meant that there are stages to what a humankind or humans can appreciate the levels of life. All right, because we have not been to the stage of souls. But what he was saying is that, yes, you fear these people because they can put a knife in your throat and you're gone. They can kill the body, but they cannot kill the soul. This is what he was saying. Now, fear the one who can destroy the soul. So, I know many people now, when you come to that, they say, so you mean what the devil said in Genesis chapter 3, what the adversary of our souls said in Genesis chapter 2, that, if you eat, God knows that when you eat this tree of good and evil, no, what tree was that? There are two trees, yeah? And of the two trees, there's one they were not supposed to eat. So he said that the devil, I need his exact words, all right, so that we are clear. The fall of man is chapter 3, okay. So, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. All right. So there is a point there. Ye shall not surely die. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. All right. So but of the tree which is in the midst of God said, we shall not eat. Okay, neither shall you touch it. So this wasn't. It's not in the discussion of the women and the. Let me go where they are given the decree by God. All right, where Adam and Eve were given the decree. Actually, the decree was only given to Adam. Okay, it was not given to the woman. Yes. There it is. The woman was not told this. Perhaps she didn't know. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, there you have it. But the tree of the good and evil, the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat it. This was told only to Adam. So I was saying that the reply that the adversary of our souls said, the serpent, was that you will not surely die. Many people, many preachers, many students, they argue that. They argue that by that statement he meant, or he claimed, the immortality of the soul. He claimed the immortality of the soul. Bringing that subject from Genesis chapter 3, I have found it dishonest of the topic on the nature of man. It is dishonest. It is not correct to say that when the devil says that thou shalt not surely die, he was claiming the immortality of soul. He wasn't. Okay, I'll come back to rebate the same statement. But what he was saying was that, you see, God told you that when you eat, you die. Okay? So, when you eat, you shall not surely die. Eat and see if you will die. Okay? The discourse was not about immortality. The discourse was not about immortality. The discussion was about death, perhaps an immediate death. All right? But it was generally that men should die. Okay? Generally, it was about men should die. To bring the question of immortality, I think is dishonest, because then it is going to kill the subject that they were souls which cried on the altar of God. These souls were not living people, these were dead. And when the reply comes for the souls, it says, wait until the number has been completed of your brothers who shall also die as you are. There is a number to be completed. Okay, so when that number is completed, then thou shalt be avenged. These were souls in a holding of some sort. We do not claim immortality to them. Okay, because Yeshua, he taught that he can terminate souls. Only him can destroy souls. So to say that the devil was claiming immortality of soul in Genesis chapter 3 verse 4, I find it very dishonest, and it's inference. It's a lot of inference. It is a lot of speculation. Yes, it's speculative. It's assumptive. And the problem is that when we bring so many assumptions and inference to Bible study, we kill the real words of the Bible. We close other chapters which we are not supposed to do so. Okay, like what we have seen in the book of Enoch. So when you go back to the book of Enoch, chapter 22, verse 12 to 18, I'll read it for you. Listen to this. It says, here their souls are separated. So in chapter 2 of Enoch, it is talking about the state, the nature of man, the souls. After man is dead, the soul that come out of him, those souls are collected or are brought into a holding. This is what he's describing. They are separated. So he's saying here their souls are separated. Moreover, abundant is their suffering until the time of the great judgment. The castigation and the torment of those who eternally execrate, whose souls are punished and bound there forever. Forever. So we have souls being kept within a holding. Of those who did wrong, they are tormented. Yes, it is true. And it is true. Also, it supports the words of Jesus when he gave his illustration of the rich man and Lazarus, poor Lazarus, who used to beg at his table. Listen to verse 18. And thus has it been from the beginning of the world. Thus has there existed a separation between the souls of those who utter complaints and those who watch for their destruction, to slaughter them in the day of sinners. Verse 14. A receptacle of this sort has been formed for the souls of unrighteous men and of sinners, of those who have completed crime and associated with the impious, whom they resemble. Their souls shall not be annihilated in the day of judgment, neither shall they rise from their place. Then I blessed Elohim. Interesting, because now we find that Enoch is giving us a narrative of his escapes, where he was taken in visions and taken around the heavens. He was taken places to see how the stars operated, the sun operated. Okay, he was shown all those things, and also he was shown the holding of the souls of men. And also, there's one interesting thing that we need to know: the souls or the angels that were thrown out of heaven. The angels that were thrown out of heaven. It is interesting to note they were not cast down on earth. They were bound into a bottomless pit. The angels that rebelled in heaven were not thrown on earth, but they were bound to the bottomless pit and thrown there. But there is one catch which we don't have from the biblical text. The one that says that so they were the watchers. This is Enoch chapter 8. They were watchers. So watchers, these were angels which were sent. There were 40 of them, sent on a mission to earth. But what did these watchers do? These watchers, they saw the daughters of men, and that they were beautiful. So when these watchers saw the beautiful daughters of men, what did they do? The Bible says that they envied, should I say, or they had desire for them. All right, they had desire for them, and they said, "Let us go and take women for ourselves." Okay, let us go. Genesis chapter 6. Okay, let us go down there, because they saw the daughters of men that were beautiful, and these were the sons of God. So the book of Enoch is the only one which exposes the meaning of Genesis chapter 6 and expounds on that and brings out a better understanding, because then it says that the sons of God were angels, okay? Or if they were not angels, but they had this heavenly appearance. They had access into the heavens above. All right. So this, we find it in the book of Job. So it is what we find the disgrace or the emergence of the emergence of the giants of the Nephilim in the book of chapter 6 of Genesis, the Nephilim. So the Nephilim were giants. These were offspring between angels and the daughters of men. Okay, angels and the daughters of men. I know some will say, how can angels give birth? How can angels cause birth to happen to men? For the same, I would ask you, what happened at the birth of Yeshua? How did Mary get impregnated by the Holy Ghost? Should I say the Holy Ghost? Or it was the act of Gabriel, who had visited, who said, "Thou shalt be pregnant, thou shalt have a baby," the baby of the promise. How did that incarnation happen? How did that process happen? We don't know how it happened. So we need to acknowledge the limit of our understanding how angels can cause recreation in humans. All right, and this is what happened with these watchers. So they did what they did, and the daughters of men gave offsprings of them. Okay, don't go and say and keep asking and say, "But do you know how angels and in heaven we will not marry?" Or, yes, we will not give in marriage, but you don't know about I want to say, well, what do we call this when we say recreation? When men give birth and we continue to give birth, and as our populations grow. Okay, we don't know how angels do it. Do they have capability? Yes, they have capability. Tell me what happened at the birth of Isaac. How did Sarai got pregnant with the child of promise? Did it come because of Abraham? No, he was the child of the promise. But how exactly did the birth happen? We don't know. let's appreciate that we don't know, but these beings, these divine beings, have the potential to do so. Have the potential to do so. Okay? Now, having passed that, the Nephilim have giants. Okay? So there's a picture I want you to have. So when you continue to read the book of Enoch after the escapades of the watchers, you'd find that these watchers, they were condemned that they cannot come into heaven. All right, they cannot come into heaven. They were banished totally. So these watchers, they begged Enoch. They said, Enoch, please go back to Elohim, our Adonai, and beg on our behalf. All right. So what eventually happened, Elohim, Adonai, Adonai of Adonai, he said to them, I cannot take you back. Your sin that you've done is great. It cannot be pardoned. But, see, I am going to take you away from earth because your inheritance is not with flesh. I'm going to take you away from there. When I do so, I'm going to banish you still. And you are going to be kept in a holding. You're going to be kept in a holding. So when you go back to the book of Revelation, it talks about angels which had been thrown in a bottomless pit, bound there until the time of the end. But wait a minute. We have the offsprings, the Nephilim, okay? The Nephilim. We have the offspring of the daughters of man and the sons of God. What happened to their souls? Because these ones now could not go into heaven. They have no inheritance in heaven. And also, they did not belong with men. So these are the spirits which wander. Amen. This is beautiful. These are the spirits which wander about these encampments where we stay. So when you read the book of Enoch, it says that for the watchers who had sinned, a covenant was made to them that they shall be destroyed. Eventually, one day, in the end, they shall be destroyed. And the word that was told them for the covenant was Beka. Beka. Beka is a coded word to say the souls, the watchers, which trifled with the daughters of men, shall be destroyed. All right? So they shall be destroyed. We have no other words to discuss this. They will be destroyed. But the souls that I am interested with are the ones which were an offspring. These ones, the book of Enoch says that they wander about, they roam about where man stays. They wander there, all right? They wander there. They've no way to place. These are the souls which seek to find bodies which they can invade. These are the spirits that when we see people being attacked by evil spirits and we say, they have a demonic spirit, these are the spirits, the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of man. They're still amongst us, but their abode are on the rebels, the refuse. They stay in the dumps. So listen to Yeshua when he was teaching. Now, this is very critical. Listen to Yeshua when he was speaking. He says that when a demon is taken away from you, all right, and that demon goes away because it has no way to go. It is just wandering, roaming right about the streets. He will come back to his house where he was, and he find it clean. He finds it clean. But there is no one occupying the new house. And Yeshua says that this demon, what will he do? He will go and call others, his friends, and say, "Come ye, and let's occupy this person." And the end thereof of this person is going to be worse than his beginning. See, we have them amongst us, and these are the spirits. These are the ones which wander the souls of the abandoned, the Nephilim, who have nothing to do but for them to be audible, for them to communicate with men, to talk to men. They need a body that they can invade. They can invade animals also. Okay, so when they do this, then they purport to come and say, "I am your grandfather, I am your aunt, I have come, I am telling you this, da 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 da." No, 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 that's not it. That's not it. It's not true. It's not true. This is why in Israel it was commanded that they should kill all the wizards, all those who speak with mediums, all those who do necromancy. All right. And so when he went to the witch of Edo to inquire of Samuel, and people say, and he said, "Bring for me Samuel, that I might converse with him, that I might ask him." And the woman said, "How dare you come and ask me of this thing? You know, there are none of us that exist in Israel. For when you became king, O Saul, you made a decree that we should be destroyed." So, who exactly appeared to Saul? It was not an angel from heaven. No. Those who rebelled from heaven, they were taken captives and were bound into the bottomless pit. But the offspring, the Nephilim, the souls of the Nephilim that wander through this earth, hath made themselves to appear, right, as the angels of light, and spoke to Saul and said, "Tomorrow thou shalt not make it." And this is why it is not permitted, it is not allowed for us to go and inquire of these witches or necromancy people, the fortune tellers, those, or seek to talk to the dead, our dead. It is not good, because we cannot talk to our dead. But what happens? The evidence, the existence of the Nephilim, the souls of the Nephilim come in between. They start talk to us. They know. Even this word that we preach, that what we are discussing right now, they know. They can hear us, but cannot participate unless they can engulf someone close to me, and they will come and say, "Keep quiet, what are you talking about?" And they do that. Okay? So the nature of man, the state of man, this is the nature of man. State of man, when man dies, what happens? Don't tell me there's just a shell that goes to the death and finish, everything is done, kalas. No. Tamam. No. You cannot say that. All right, because the Bible itself, before I even go to the book of Enoch, I go to the book of Jubilees, even before I have gone, even before I've gone to the book of Joshua, all right, the Bible by itself give evidence which is clear. Even Job, even the book of Job talks about his spirit after he is dead. My spirit will go to him who made us. This is why he is called the God of the spirits. This is why he is called the God of the spirits of all flesh. He is God of the spirits. Why? Because he holds them when they die. All right? Now you have understanding. That was, now you know. Okay, now you have a clear picture. Let no one just tell you words and say, "They are dead, there's nothing, and who is talking?" evil spirits. Were evil spirits. The angels which rebelled in heaven, they were bound and thrown into the bottomless pit. For them, the keys to the bottomless pit are given to Yeshua, and he shall open that bottomless pit, and he shall deal with those souls or those spirits. Okay, but the ones that roam about us, this is the story in Genesis chapter 6. You can say no translation, what, that is the wisdom of man. It's what you want to hear. I given you the truth. If anyone has objections, send your comments and questions to the contacts that are given here. You can send on my social media, on my email, then we can discuss. All right, my email, do not use my do not use the Gmail account, which is Abe AC Tech. No, don't use that one. Use the Almond Minora at gmail.com. Okay, or use my WhatsApp number to forward your questions and your objections. So see you on my next presentation, most likely in the first day, on a Monday. All right, that's when I will do another one. All right, shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. Have a great day. That was my discussion this afternoon: the nature of man and the correction to the mainstream media, the mainstream theology. Okay, mainstream theology, which seeks to hide from us why he is called the God of all spirits, the God of the spirits of all flesh. Shalom, shalom. Have a great day.